Countdown to NBA season is officially here. I really, really can't wait till the NBA season comes back. It is my favorite sport on this medium, especially. However, so that means I've been really following all the training camp videos that have been surfacing. I feel like this year, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here.
Okay.
We've seen more headlines about practice than we've ever seen.
Practice?
Like, for example, one of them yesterday was, watch Kevin Durant and Steph Curry not miss a shot for 5 minutes. Here's a breaking news flash. Most NBA players at that level, especially of the superstar ability, don't miss shots in practice. I am very certain guys who, like DeAndre Jordan, go 90% from the free throw line in practice.
Right.
It's different in the game, obviously. Allen Iverson meme here. But there's about 10 memes. What's up?
Wait, you're telling me that they go into depth, or more depth than you expected this year in the off-season to keep you prepared for the NBA season coming in?
There was no headlines
This is in the
off-season.
United States, where when I first kind of started watching SportsCenter, there was an actual poll that was comparing LeBron James. I'll say this all the time. LeBron James' scoring record with and without his headband.
No, look,
That's true, Rick Storm. That is true. That's the sort of analysis you're working with. The numbers were it was 59% from the field with his headband and 50% without it. Who gives a flying fuck?
Look, it affects the gambling people in the world who know if he wants to be
Yeah,
playing
he's
with
gonna-
the headband,
yeah,
he's going to
no,
shoot
no.
better.
Exactly.
It's
Could it
important.
to do with the fact that he was getting older? No.
To the memes, because there's a lot of great ones that Bleacher Report, Getty Images, NBA.com, and a lot of people from Twitter. Name this band, because the Brooklyn Nets going into this season, besides Yogi Ferrell, who I believe comes from your alma mater, correct, Nick?
Correct.
Rick?
Indiana University.
Yeah. That's, and then of course the crying
Look
Jordan.
at Chase Budinger. Like,
Do you know what
how
reminds me
surprised
of?
are you that he's still in the league?
I feel what's surprising to me about this is that this cast of characters here, this band as they're putting it,
Sure.
like in 10 years, it's going to be a Deadspin column called let's remember some people. Let's remember some names.
Right.
Chase Budinger is definitely one of those names.
I mean, like the longevity he has had in the NBA.
Is it 12, 13 years now?
No. I don't
Would it
know.
be that
I don't know about
surprising?
that. I think it's about
Are you
10.
afraid that after this came after Dwayne Wade said that he is going to open up a new era of basketball in his game because he's going to be taking threes this year?
He's
Dwayne
not going
Wade,
to.
He's going to be open for him.
Look, it's sort of like a boxer when you have a strategy and you realize that strategy isn't working. You go back to your old strategy and what you know. So that's exactly what's going to happen.
That's going to
with
happen.
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, we were talking right beforehand. The Bulls over/under number is shockingly low, given the
39
fact
and a
that
hook, right?
those three guys alone, Butler, especially Wade and Rondo, they know what it takes to win in the NBA. These are all guys who are experienced winners.
You think
and
they're in the
close.
playoffs this year?
I think with the Eastern, I think they can make the 7 or the 8 seed. Yeah, I think the
agree.
Heat are going to be a
Yeah,
disaster.
I agree completely. Yeah.
But
don't
I
think
think last year I
be a
looked at their
500
team.
team. They
Last year
should be.
I looked at
Fine
their
with
team
that.
and I was thinking they were destined for the playoffs last year. And of course, just the way things go in Chicago, it doesn't always pan out the way you expect it. Isn't that right, Rick?
Yeah, sometimes, right?
He's got
Yeah.
enough
pretty true.
championships between hockey and basketball.
Yeah, I think we're doing
fine.
fine. Last time Celtic won anything important, when was it?
Well, we just
A
tied
couple days
Manchester
ago
City, so we
against-
will take that as a win. The first team to take any points off of Pep Guardiola. Thank you very much,
You are
sir.
such a glorified douche.
he's turned into-
I mean, seriously, you are thinking of a draw in the Champions League as a win.
Of
Or the
course, when you're
Bulls.
Celtic, you're up against a team like that. You got to take any sort of victory you can grasp.
Did you know
from a game
he
like
runs the diluted Brendan Rodgers?
that? Yeah, I
Twitter
run
account?
that.
I did not. No.
I wish I did.
Mazel tov to you.
Come on. Well, this is coming from two guys over here. Like, let's compare sports teams that's close to our hearts.
I don't
Really
talk
quick on a
about my
tangent.
sports team because mine don't win anything ever.
Okay, and then the last time the Cubs won,
They were back-to-back champs, actually, 1907, 1908.
1907 and 1908.
Correct.
I was testing your
He's got the
knowledge.
Bulls.
Fact of the day, and it is a
The
depressing one.
Blackhawks? Yeah, Jacory can run some fun element. There's a fail stamp too. Be
Thanks,
careful,
brother.
it's coming. All right, more of the training camp memes because we have a few more to get through. If I'd retire, if I blew a 3-1 lead, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of those. Anybody see the? Also, we'll throw it in post the jersey numbers.
No.
Blue 3-1 lead.
No.
That's what they had for Kevin Durant instead of 35. Next, kneecap tattoos are for closers. Were you here
Wait,
when they?
is that real?
Yeah.
I mean, the kneecap tattoo is real, not
Right.
not like I don't think D'Angelo Russell made that. However, were you here for when Kevin Durant, like the whole TYT network was making fun of Kevin Durant's tattoos and he called us clowns?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yeah, that was,
Should we
that was
get
my
the-
first year.
Should we get D'Angelo Russell to call us clowns? Are we supposed to make fun of his tattoos?
No,
right now?
man, you're supposed to call people out when they're supposed to be called out. You don't call people out without knowing the story. Sorry, Ben. That's what he did.
I'll
Is
call
that what
D'Angelo
those-
Russell out.
Blame Ben.
100%. Yes, that's what he did. Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell is still on that level being called out after the whole Snapchat fiasco involving Nick
Right, but he
Young.
mid fun of himself in the Foot Locker ad.
He did.
he
He
did.
threw it
Fantastic.
very,
It's
very
the best way to
self-aware.
respond to it.
Right.
Yeah, he threw his phone out the window. Look,
Right.
I like D'Angelo Russell. I loved him at Ohio State, and he was one of the guys I pegged 2 years ago now, to be like a dramatically changing point guard in the NBA because he has that ability to see plays before they develop.
I agree.
He showed it off at Ohio State. Now, we didn't really know his maturity at the time in terms of like how could you handle yourself in a locker room. Those are things that pan out, but part of me believes, can he be like Jameis Winston in a way, someone who was very immature and became more mature as he got older.
That is a rough example.
Yes, still.
About Jabu wins when he was in college compared to just like, throwing Nick Young under the bus.
Oh, no, but it was still fascinating how people...
Did they both break bro code?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was still fascinating the way that Nick Young was getting the benefit of the doubt.
Well, yeah,
people were
Nick
like,
Young.
you got to keep Nick Young. I'm like,
Right.
what? You got to keep who?
He balled in Yeezys.
That was the
He
best
balled
thing.
in... Did you see that? He
Yeah.
played... And he was also recently in Venice playing in the same shoes.
But you know what?
Venice Summer League.
And in order to build your brand, what do? You continue to attract attention. So
Well,
that's
you're
exactly
in
what
LA.
I
It's
take
not that
Nick Young
hard
as.
if you're... Yeah.
Ben would tell a story of when Nick Young was with the Washington Wizards that he would have a game where he put up about 22 points and a pure Nick Young stat line, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, and like 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
Like
And still
that
run
is
away
Nick
like
Young.
this.
Yeah,
As
Ben's
if he just
point...
won the game-winning shot in the NBA.
Ben's
Finals.
point of Nick Young was like just the rebounding stat, like just run towards the basket once.
Right. The
You're
ball will
bound
hit
to
you
grab
in the
it.
head at least.
And you'll get like a team rebound for that if you help knock it out of bounds with your other team.
You know what that'll be? Hustle plays.
Hustle plays, yeah. But that Nick Young does not really
totally.
have that. All right, more memes. I think we have a few. I really like this one. This is what is Karl Anthony
is
Towns
jacked,
searching on the computer. Is Nikola Pekovic still in the NBA? Is Tom Thibodeau right about knee cartilage being overrated? Is Cole Aldrich a real NBA player?
Oh.
And is Shabazz Muhammad older than Kevin Garnett?
Are my shoulders bigger than Dwight Howard's? He looks huge. He
Oh,
looks
he's
like
enormous.
He's beefed up, man.
He's enormous.
I know he was already a beefy guy coming in, but he looks
I
huge.
hope for God's sake this isn't true. However, given that Rick City so generously gave my city...
Where's Joakim Noah?
Well, currently sitting out the Knicks dinner at West Point because he doesn't believe in war.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, war, what is it good for?
You know, there you go. Is it Pat Benatar? No. Who sings the song? I know
The
I'm
line is
butchering.
absolutely nothing.
I know the song, but I was like, who sang it? Bart, DJ Bart.
Edwin Starr.
Thank you.
The song War.
Thank you.
And then better rendition with
I gotta-
Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan.
That's
That's
very true.
very
Do you
true.
know what movie? Could you share with us what movie you know Dave Chappelle from?
Why is Dave Chappelle coming into this?
Because it's just important. I think
Nutty
it's really
Professor.
funny. Because I think it's funny.
Blue Streak. I'm just showing my vast movie knowledge, and no one expected it.
Rip your tongue out. Lick my balls.
Right? He knows it. He knows exactly the movie I'm talking about. Oh, man.
Do we have more memes, Shikari? Or are we out? Oh, that's cute.
Miss you.
Russell Westbrook, MVP this year. Yes or
That's
no?
what I've been saying. If he averages a triple-double and they finish in the playoffs, 8 seed or higher, with a triple-double. If you don't get the triple-double, you're not going to get the MVP. If you get a triple-double, average. We haven't seen it since Big O.
Right.
And at the time, they're like, "Oh, Big O didn't win it when he did it." Yeah, because voting has changed since then. If you do something that has not been done historically in over 30 years,
Right.
voters are gushing over numbers. Nobody on the Warriors are going to average enough numbers to get it. And the only argument I've ever seen is they've never given it to anybody below a 3 seed. Okay, we haven't seen anybody average a triple-double in 30 years.
Well, that's an interesting point. Like, how do you feel about Mike Trout then? Like, is he an MVP right now because he's on a horrible team and he's still producing and he has no protection?
Yes.
This is the
Or should he not be
Yes,
eligible because
I
they didn't
say
make the
that.
playoffs?
I say that. I think he is an MVP. I also say that because without Mike Trout, they might not win more than 25 games.
I agree. I think he should be in there. I think him and Freddie Freeman should get MVP consideration.
We did this,
Freddie
we
Freeman
did this
actually had a very good
exact
season,
clip. We talked about what is the extent to you can go to where you're performing to that ridiculous level, but your team is keeping if your team is mediocre, like if you make it to playoffs, I agree. I think Russell Westbrook it stakes a claim for the MVP. But again, if your team is falling by the wayside in comparison to someone who's closer to you in stats, maybe not averaging a triple-double, I strongly believe that in order to be an MVP, your team needs to be reaping the benefits of your performance. There's so many players in the history of amazing teams that have just
There's so
been
many
There's
true
so
disastrous.
many
options.
outside factors, though. There's one ball and there's 4 other players that you have to appease. There's not one sport that has a bigger impact than the NBA with one player's skill set.
Exactly.
We've seen that with LeBron James.
Yeah,
But
that's
then
a good
again, LeBron James is a once-in-a-century player, once-in-a-lifetime player.
If you're going to pick an MVP, LeBron's been the MVP every single year.
Correct, and the only reason he didn't get it was because of voter fatigue when Derrick Rose won it, and I'm a Chicago Bulls fan.
So when you
Although Derrick Rose had a phenomenal year.
When you're looking at other arguments, like if you're comparing a Messi and a Ronaldo, like what is often the deal breaker is how their team performs at the end of the season. Because when it comes to that close of a call, whether both of them statistically are matching up side by side, it's how they influence a team. And in football, I always make the case that the NBA is a specific sport where I strongly believe that one player can impact the outcome of a game.
Oh, it does.
In that sport, more so than any other game. Because you only have 5 players, the court size, take that all into consideration, how LeBron James can go from one side, dunk or whatever he wants to do, and then the other side perform a block. That's how much impact you can have in a game. I think that you have a better chance of winning an MVP if your team is of a lower standard in the NBA than it is in any other sport.
Well, think about this then. Mike Trout gets to play the field, and the ball's hit to him maybe 4 times a game if it's a really, really good, entertaining day for him.
It's outside his influence. He can't really control that.
And he gets 4 at-bats. So every time with that small percentage, he has to make the most of what he has. So it seems like it also, in a way, it holds more water for a guy to produce if their team is absolutely crappy and he's hitting well over 300 and his fielding percentage is in the top 5 for his position because he gets such limited exposure in his game.
That's also why I'll hold like the guys who are on both sides of the field like shortstops. Like if you're putting up monstrous numbers as a shortstop and you're good defensively, like you have such an impact because that 4 times a game the ball is being hit to Mike Trout, that could be upwards of 20, 30, 40 to your position. And of course there's times where you're hitting up against a bunch of lefties and you don't see the ball once. But
you guys couldn't make any other comparison other than baseball?
No, because we're about to hit the playoffs, okay, Francis? 2 wins this year for the 76ers. By the way, the next couple tweets I have from Joel Embiid.
What is their over-under, real quick?
Around 25?
The Sixers?
I think it's really bad. I'm pretty sure it's still like
no, that's too high.
It's too high. Then it's too high. No, Ben Simmons is going to come in. Hold on. First of all,
20 wins.
Joel Embiid is if he does not Greg Oden himself, right? If his injuries don't get the better of him, a phenomenally talented player. Please follow him on social media because we're going to wrap up with these 2. Here are the 2 tweets for Joel Embiid. He's hilarious. If somebody teaches me to be the point guard position, I feel like I'd be able to play it. And next, while he was watching Nerlens Noel shoot free throws, goes to the line and Joel Embiid yells, "He's going to miss both. He can't shoot." Very helpful. He also photoshops himself into dinners with Rihanna and thanks her on Twitter for the date.
Right.
And lastly, just because we have to wrap this up because I think we are out of time, take you out with Brandon Ingram getting the rookie treatment singing Rihanna.